Hello and welcome to Box to Board. Today we are going to do a quick flick through of the Path of Waves, Essential Guide to Ronin for Legend of the Five Rings, the role-playing game. As ever, it is a beautiful book. But one of the things that stands out is it is chunky. It's not cheap, but it is very, very, very thick, and there's a lot in here, and it's beautiful. So let's have a look. Sorry, the artwork. You'll see, but look at that, look at that. I mean, it's the one in the front, but somehow it's just, without, it's just gorgeous. Sorry. So we've got in here, as ever, that little bit that tells us, a little bit of story. We have got, what's in the book, so we get a bit about the life of Ronin. It's chapter 1, then chapter 2, a bit about creating characters. Chapter 3, new player options. Chapter 4, Twin Blessings Village, Hirosaka, Untold Stories, Chapter 6, and NPCs, and there's some bits of Adventure Seeds as well. So, Life of the Ronin, let's have a look at it. This is what this book is about. It's about Ronin, so it's got, that's the overwhelming theme. It's not the only thing, but it's the overwhelming theme. And there's a lot about what, how you become a Ronin, what happens that causes this. And the reference, so death of one's lord, voluntarily leaving the lord loses resources, so he can't afford to have you, the endless year. Now this is, the reference, Path of Waves is all about a process whereby samurai leave home and go off as a Ronin for a year after just having completed Genpaku, the coming age ceremony. And the idea is that it'll give them a sense of how great the clan is, because they'll realise how unstable life is without it. But some people just keep going. Some people embrace that life of walking on this path of waves, this instability. I think it's just brilliant. From a point of view of a GM, there's something you can play with very, very easily coming out of the starting camp. Whenever you're starting something fresh, you could say this is your year. This is your first year. So you go through Genpaku, and then you've got a party that's built up of people as Ronin. Then we've got branded a Ronin, so they can't be categorized in some way. Lowly born, so a peasant who is effectively a Ronin. Or in this case, so maybe love of fighting, a life of combat, full of heart, born a Ronin, so some people are born it. Then what's it like to be one? So the idea of the martial pilgrim, which I think is an awesome sort of type, and can be really used. That's one I love the idea of that. The mercenary, the criminal, and then where are Ronin within the Celestial Order and within the tenets of Bushido? So how do they interpret it? What do they do with them? Then what work do they do? How do they get work? Well, some are mercenaries, some are guards, rangers, some are spies, some shadow warriors, body double paid to impersonate an important military officer. Some are tutors, some are wandering priests, and then we've got the idea of what is the relationship of the different clans with Ronin. Some will embrace them, some will not. And then we've got the idea of how do the Ronin relate to other groups like farmers, merchants, artisans, Hinin, foreigners. And then a little bit about the Perfect Land sect, which I think has got a lot of potential in terms of story. And then we get to the bit that really makes this worthwhile, is that we've got all that stuff about Ronin. How does that work out in game? What's the mechanics of that? And we've got these revised 20 questions. So if you want to create a Ronin character, how can you do it within the storytelling constraints of Legend of the Five Rings and the world of it? And this is how you can do it. So there's a revised set of 20 questions, and they're based on the premise that you're not in a clan, because the clan is a big feature of the original 20 questions. So in this case, you've got region instead of family, and you've got upbringing. So the regions, there's detail for each region, things like urban, rural, sea, river, lake, forest, mountain, haunted. Now these are all very similar in the sense of being, actually these are incredibly like what you have, no, they're not incredibly similar to each other, but the format is basically the same as it was for your original clans. And then we also have Gaijin. So we also have different Gaijin. Where are they from? So we've got why would you play a Gaijin character? How do you play a Gaijin character? I'll come into this as well. So we've got Ujik, we've got Quamarists, we've got Yodha of the Ghostlands, we've got Shilavan, and that's what we got. And then we've got upbringing. So we get craftsperson, fallen noble, farmer upbringing. I like these. I think these have got a lot of potential. Geisha, Hinin, hunter, law enforcement, military, ronin, organised crime, street urchin, temple, tradesperson. So we get a lot of different options there, and we will have, and that adds flavour and character to our ronin character, to our ronin. Then we have role and skills. What's your character skills, and what are its associated roles? So we've got different skill choices, and these include things. And this is looking very familiar now, hopefully to you. Same format as in the original book. So we've got a wandering blade, we get student of the Talon, we've got treasure hunter, we've got school of leaves, voice of the wilds, artisan of the roads, mystic of the mountains, Ujik, diviner, Quamaris, shield bearer, Quamaris, alchemist. There's a lot of them. Ivory Kingdom tradition, Ivory Kingdom Ivory Kingdom sage tradition, Ivory Kingdom dancing blades. There's a lot of new content here. Okay, there's a lot of new content. Some of it feels a little bit the same as some of the other content, but actually, whenever you take those rules and you add them to the family and the background stuff and the region stuff, you start to develop a distinctive flavour. Then we get this thing of what gets them into trouble, because they don't have the same sort. You want to have the same depth, but the options aren't there the same as they were before. Ninja and Giri don't work the same. So we've got then what's their past, how does it affect them, and we've got a table for rolling. We have then Ninja and Giri are different. It's basically the whole thing's a little bit different. What are they known for? What do they think of Bushido? We've got another table for Sample Ninja. I like this because I think it's got quite a lot of. I like the fact I can just roll something and pick it up. I quite like that. It appeals to me. Makes it a wee bit easier, I think, because sometimes that's the area that I find people struggle a little bit with. Is these, what is it that you want to achieve? What is your desire? And some people have got a very clear idea, and some people just really don't. And having the table to roll helps. It just helps. Greatest accomplishments, what holds them back in life, what activity makes them feel at peace, what concern or fear or foibles, what have they learnt the most during their life, and then they've got prized possessions, how they deal with stressful situations. It builds just into the normal thing, and then who raised you, that's quite a good one for this. Then we've got some new advantages. Fair few new disadvantages. There's a fair few again. Specific anxieties. Let's just check. Specific passions. Then we've got a bit about how to create a Gaijin culture. I think that's quite interesting. How to build a school. This is kind of cool. I like this. Ring bonuses. How this is all within this. Building a school. So there's stuff here that if you've got something that you really want to do, there's ways to do it. Now that in itself is significant. That's really helpful. And there's people out there who that's just something they've been desperate for. Now, new player options. Let's look at chapter 3. So we get some new techniques, some different kata, Gosh, that's quite a lot. That is a lot of new kata. Then we get new shuji. See, this is where this book gets thick. New rituals. And then we've got celestial implements of the divine kingdoms, so of the ivory kingdoms. So these are different techniques for the ivory kingdoms. That's kind of cool. There's a lot going on there. That's a lot of stuff. Celestial elements. How to and then we get this idea of how to make money, and then gear, ivory kingdoms, weaponry, personal effects. There's a lot here. I mean, we're about halfway through and we're on 120 pages. This is big. Then we get the Twin Blessings village and how you can use it. So this is a village that can be in different places, and it gives you ways of adapting it into different places, which is kind of cool. The geography of it, and the actual what the different components are. Some of the villagers, which is really nice. This is nice actually, having this sort of like named bit where it's a brief description. So this is a general place that you can use again. So you can use in your adventures and some seeds. That's kind of cool. I like this. I'm liking that a lot actually. I think that's really nice, because basically this is a generic place that I can use in a campaign really easily, and just plop it down, and it's got depth, and it's got lots of opportunities for adventures. And some really interesting adventures there are actually. So there's things here like Bloodless Steeds, Forbidden Waters, and the water level is lower than it's ever been. The villagers are convinced it's only getting worse. Setsu politely approaches any visitors, asks if they've been fishing in the plunge pool where fishing is prohibited, and it sort of evolves from there. So there's some really, I mean, these are nice little adventures from what I'm seeing. And I think that's a really nice, that's significant. That's a decent set of evenings there you've got built around this Twin Blessings village, which is kind of cool. Then we get Hirosaka. And this is a town that again can be in different places, and it can be a holding. And again, I'm really liking this. You can plop this in different places. You can put it in different bits. And there's some really, good, rich descriptions of different sections. Again, as you would expect. Then we got notable people. Nice little descriptions again. Bit about where you find the different townspeople, and then we get detail about the notable NPCs, which again is really, really nice. So you can build around these quite a lot. There's lots of different bits here that you can develop into really interesting missions and bits like that. And then we get this idea of, then we get the whole adventure seeds again. Oh, this is quite cool. And I'm looking at that and just going, there's a lot in there that's really nice. Then we get untold stories. These are how to do this, how to as a GM. So this is the GM kind of section from what I can see. I think. So there's some really nice ideas and things that you can, I don't know if it is GM actually, but there's a lot more depth again about how to be a Ronin. A lot more. Once again. And then World Outside of Rokugan. Gosh, So you can actually have bits outside where it talks about. So that's really nice. So you can extend this quite a lot. Wow, it's a gaming in the Ghostlands. This is really good. And then there's a bit here. Yeah, this must be the GM bit about the storytelling structure. I'm really enjoying this. It's a method. I think this is a really decent book. You know, there's a lot going on here, but about as GM, there's a lot of detail and support and inspiration. Just, I mean, then trinkets. Rokugan Gani names, Ivory Kingdom names. So there's a lot here that allows me to generate stuff. NPCs. Then we get new NPC templates. As, you know, kind of come with some of this, but there's a lot of them. You know what, I'm looking at this and I'm just going, my goodness, there's a lot of material in here. This is not a light, quick book. This is not a light, quick book. This is a lot going on. Tons of it. So how many pages are we weighing in it? It says over 250 pages. And it's all beautiful. And actually, I haven't seen anything in there. I'm going, that's all right. I don't really. It's awesome. That's an awesome book. As an expansion, I think this is really good because I think there's a couple of issues that people find with Legend of the Five Rings. I think one of the biggest challenges is the idea of the Lord and the idea that you're and the way samurai work and the way the culture works. Now, some people embrace that and love it, and it's great, and it's amazing, and it's a completely alien world. But Ronin is a much more Western friendly idea. I think it makes it's a lot easier for us for the Western mindset to get into and to get our heads around. So I think from that point of view, this is actually a book that, if I was getting one expansion, this is the one expansion I would get with. Definitely at the minute, this is it, because new players or players who maybe are coming from a not so role playing storytelling background will find this much more understandable playing Ronin characters. And there's enough here, and with spades, to enable you to do that. There's loads of adventure seeds. I love the fact that we've got two places that you can just plop into different campaigns and just lift them, put them in. It shows you how to do that and things that you can do from there. That's brilliant. Because as GM, there's always going to be days whenever you haven't got as much time to prepare, or you're just running out of ideas for a bit. There's stuff in here that can help you with that. I love the fact that the questions are adapted the way they are. I think this is a very accessible expansion for relatively new players to the genre, and I think and new players to the genre, and it makes the game a little bit more. It makes it accessible. It makes it easier to get into and get your head around. But I think as a GM, it gives you a lot of depth that you didn't know you needed, but my goodness, once you see it, you just go, that looks really nice. So I think this is an awesome edition. It's not the cheapest, but then it's 250 pages of beautiful, 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 useful stuff. So in that context, I'm looking at it and going, is it a must-have? Yeah, if you're going to buy one expansion for Legend of the Five Rings, buy this one, is my gut. The other ones are brilliant, and I love them, but this is probably, this is above the rest, and this is a must-have. I think in terms of just the depth and the breadth of content and the options it opens to you. I'm really impressed with it. It wasn't quite what I expected. I thought it was going to be good. I didn't think it was going to be this good. I think this is just off the charts. But then I'm a big fan of Ronan, so. But I can see how I would use it with a new party. Very straightforwardly. They would go through the introductory mission that came with the starter pack. And then in Genpaku, after their Genpaku and after the recognition, they would go onto the Path of Waves. And from there, it's a very accessible way of going. And you can, and actually, it gets around a lot of the things that can be quite tricky in the game. In that, what if your lords want different things, and there's conflicting bits. And some people thrive on that. But one of the things that always struck me was it can be a little bit odd having the different clans together if the clans don't get on. And if you've got a party that doesn't really want to role play or story tell, you're kind of missing a trick there, and it's a little bit weird. Here it's not. That party, they're working together because that's how they just survive. It's how they get by in life, and that's what they do. So yeah, I think it's brilliant. I really do, and I would give that a 5 out of 5 actually, without a shadow of a doubt. Give that 5.5 out of 5 if I could, but that's just weird. So anyway. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. There's a little button down on the video. We have got t-shirts and other bits and pieces for those of you who are interested in such things, and we'll put a link. And yeah, brilliant. Have a good day. Bye-bye.